Hi again! Today for our math lesson, we're going to review the ways we have learned to solve a multiplication question, and we're going to learn one more new way. So we have already learned how to solve using groups of. So if I have the question 4 times 3, I make 4 groups of 3. There's my 4 groups, and I put 3 somethings in there, in this case lines, and then I count up what's inside, and my answer is 12. 3, 6, 9, 12. And if I'm doing an array, it's the same as groups of, except the rows and columns are just nicely lined up. So again, let's try 4 times 3 just so that we can compare what it looks like. So I'm going to make 4 rows. Or sorry, there's four rows, and there's 3 in each column. Or sorry, 3 in each row. So we would have 3, 6, 9, 12. Or we can count it this way. 4, 8, 12. There is one more way to solve a multiplication question, and that is by skip counting. So if we have 4 times 3 as our question, and we want to use skip counting to solve the answer, we're going to give ourselves 4 spaces because we have 4. And then we're going to skip count by 3s. That number there tells us what we're going to skip count by. Now in class I would have you use a hundreds chart to help you with this. So if you have it from before, because I did send it in an attachment to your parents, take it out and use it for this, and that will really help you. Or you can use a ruler. So to skip count, I'm going to count by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12. And this final number is my answer. I'm going to demonstrate a couple more of skip counting just so you can get the hang of it. Let's try 5 times 6. So I give myself 5 spaces, and I'm going to skip count by 6s. That's a little tricky. But you would go 6, count on 6 each time. 12, 18, 24, 30. So there's my answer. And one more. Let's try 4 times 6. So I'm going to give myself 4 spaces, and I'm going to count by 6s again. Oh, I'm counting by 6s again. So 6, 12, 18, 24. If I turned it around and did 6 times 4, I could skip count like this, but I'd have to give myself 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this time I'd be skip counting by 4s. And it would look like this. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Remember, the last one is always your answer. So that's how you can solve using skip counting. So we're going to try this out today. See you next time.
Okay, so now it is our turn. We're going to do a little bit of review and practice together, and I also want to practice some problems with skip counting to multiply, right? So let's first talk about the identity property. Okay, so the identity property of multiplication states that any number times 1 is going to equal that number. Okay, so for example, if I have 8 times 1, I have my number 8, I multiply it by 1, it's always going to equal 8 because it's multiplied by 1. If I have the number 1, why it does that sometimes? 1 times 6. Okay, I have my number 1, I'm multiplying it by 6. My answer is still going to be 6 because I'm multiplying it by 1. So it doesn't matter what number I'm multiplying it by 1. It could be 7,642 times 1. The answer would still be 7,642 because it's multiplied by 1 with that identity property. Okay, so if I have the problem 7 times 1, what's my answer? 7, you're right, because I'm multiplying it by 1. What if I have 24 times 1? What's my answer? My answer is 24. Very good, because again, I'm multiplying it by 1. As long as I'm multiplying it by 1, my answer is always going to be that same number. Okay? Now, let's review the zero property of multiplication. Okay? The zero property of multiplication states that any number times 0 is going to equal 0 because you're multiplying it by 0. If I have 0 times 3, my answer is going to be 0. Think of it as having 0 bird baths. So I have 0 bird baths in my picture. There's no bird baths here. I have nowhere to put my 3 bird baths, do I? Or my 3 birds? No. So I don't have any. If I have the equation 4 times 0, my product is going to be 0 because I'm multiplying it by 0. Anytime you see a multiplication problem and one of the factors in it is 0, your answer is always going to be 0. Let's practice. 0 times 4. What's my answer? 0. What if I had the equation 5 times 0? What's my answer? Right, it's going to be 0. Okay, because anytime I multiply a number by 0, I'm going to get 0. Now, I want to practice some skip counting to multiply it. And I'm going to model it just like their examples we did in the video, which is similar to what we did yesterday. If you do have a a 100s chart still that you know where it is, why don't you pull that out? Because that may be helpful to you also as you're counting. If I have 4 times 3, okay, I'm going to skip count to multiply. I have 4 as my first factor, okay? I don't know why it's doing that, guys. 4 is my first factor, all right? That means I have 4 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on the lines, I'm going to count by 3s. So I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 4 times 3 equals 12. So I'm skip counting by 3s here. 3, 6, 9, 12. Let's try another one. If I have 5 times 6. Now this one's a little bit trickier because it's got bigger numbers. My first factor is a 5. So that's how many groups or how many lines I'm doing when I'm skip counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, sorry about the extra lines. I don't know why it's doing that today. Okay, so now I'm going to ready to count. I'm counting by 6s. So each one of the lines down here is going to have a multiple of 6. So let's start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. My final answer is 30. So 5 times 6 equals 30. Okay? And all I did is I was counting up for these numbers, and every sixth number, I wrote it down. Okay? So my multiples of 6 would be 6, 12, 18, 24, and 30. Let's practice a few more. Let's do another one, and I'd like you to do this one with me. So get your paper and pencil ready, and I want you to write down this equation. 4 times 6. I apologize for the line. I don't know why it's doing that. All right, multiplying 4 times 6. Now, this is similar to the equation we just did, okay? So I have 4. So I'm going to have 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm multiplying by 6. So every sixth number is what I'm writing on the line. Ready? So let's start with 6, and we're going to count up 6 and write the next number. Ready? So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So 4 times 6 equals 24. I'm just counting up. All right, let's look at another one. Let's do 5 times 5. This is an interesting one. Your factors are 5 and 5. My first factor of 5 tells me how many groups. I'm going to have 5 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. I'm skip counting by 5s. So let's start at number 5. We're going to count up and write down every fifth number we say. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So 5 times 5 equals 25, right? Now, again, this is just a strategy to use, all right? You can still use your equal groups. If I was going to solve 3 times 6 using equal groups, I would have 3 groups. And I would put 6 counters in each group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I have 6 counters in each group. Now that I have 6 counters in each group, let's add them up. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I have 18 altogether. So 3 times 6 equals 18. On the next couple of slides, you're going to have problems you're going to work on independently. You can use equal groups like we have and draw a picture. You can practice skip counting you like, okay? Please do the work on your own. No calculators. Don't ask mom, dad, sister, or anybody else for answers. It's a strategy. If you need help, let me or one of the other teachers help you to learn how to do it so you can apply this when we get to other math problems, okay? Great job, guys, with the lesson today, and happy math!